Hey everyone, it's the man Andy Bebe, and I am back here to tell you today we are going to be diving into the comic book world, and we are going to be diving into some pro wrestling. Sports fans today, I am going to take a little bit break from sports and give the people of comics and pro wrestling some love today. But yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off with pro wrestling, we had a huge weekend in the world of pro wrestling. Both WWE and AEW had pay-per-views. WWE had King and Queen of the Ring, and AEW had AEW Double or Nothing last night, and it was crazy. We will get into that one in a minute, but first we're gonna go and talk about what happened at WWE King and Queen of the Ring. So starting off first, the very first match that was on the show, it was Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair took on Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, and with no shocker at all, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair won. Even though with Bianca being injured, Jade stepped it up for the team and got them the win. And then the very first match to kick off the show was the man Becky Lynch. Not the only person calls them the man. Like yours truly. But she took on Liv Morgan, and with some shenanigans from Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan defeated Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship, and the Liv Revenge Tour has been fulfilled. We'll find out what will happen once Rhea Ripley comes back, though. On to the next match on the card. For the IC title, we had Sami Zayn took on Chad Gable and Big Bronson Reed, and from what I heard, was a pretty good match that ended with Sami Zayn picking up the victory over, again, another match that had some shenanigans in it, but this time it helped out the champion instead of not helping out the champion, Sami Zayn. So yeah. And then on to the Queen of the Ring finale between Lyra Valkyrie and Nia Jax. Nia Jax crushed Valkyrie to win the Queen of the Ring. Now, Triple H said earlier on in the week that participants that win the King and Queen of the Ring get a world title shot at this year's SummerSlam. So Nia Jax will face either, it'll be whoever is the SmackDown Women's Champion come SummerSlam. So yeah, I got some good stuff there. But the one of the big matches of the night, the King of the Ring finale. The Viper Randy Orton took on the Ring General Gunther in a phenomenal match. Everybody said that this one was probably one of, if not the best match of the night. Gunther got the victory, so that means he's going to take on whoever is the Raw World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam. So congratulations to him. He's a very good wrestler. We talked about him on the show a lot from WrestleMania weekend. But yeah, and everybody knows Randy Orton, the RKO out of nowhere. Not just the meme, one of the best wrestlers probably that WWE has produced. But yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Both shows were phenomenal, by the way. AEW and WWE, phenomenal shows. Now we're going to go to the main event where the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, took on, also, happy Memorial Day, by the way. But anyway, he took on the United States champion Logan Paul for Cody's WWE championship. And Cody retained. There was some shenanigans in this match. Logan Paul used the brass knucks on Cody, even though he wrote a contract saying that he wouldn't. But come on, he's a heel. You knew it was going to happen, right? I won't do this. Yeah, right. Anyway, but yeah, it was a phenomenal match. But Cody comes up victorious and defeats Logan Paul to retain his title. So we shall see where things go from there tonight, starting on Monday Night Raw, to see where the cards play. But yeah, so make sure you tune in to Monday Night Raw. I'm sure we'll talk about what's going on in the next episode. So what I've been trying to do with the show is like give a little bit of everything. But obviously I can't talk about everything because some weeks there's big news for some and big news for others. But pro wrestling will, since it's weekly, constant with big news, that one will always be on one of the shows, whether it be the sports show or the comic book show. So yeah. On to what happened last night at AEW Double or Nothing. Oh boy, where to start? Well, let's start off with the match that started the show. Roderick Strong and everybody's favorite bruv, Will Ospreay. Great way to start off the show, and I tell you what, the way that this show started and the way this show ended, it was wild, it was crazy. As one of the match types is Anarchy in the Arena, and darn sure was there. But we'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's start off with the beginning of the show being Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay. Very good match. Phenomenal match. One of my favorite matches of the night. With Roderick Strong had the Undisputed Kingdom trying to help. Felt like the odds were against Ospreay, but Ospreay defied the odds. Then his manager tried to get involved and tell him what to do, and somehow he comes up with the victory. So great match by Will Ospreay. And then as soon as Will Ospreay is done celebrating and goes through the to the back, Adam Cole, Bebe's music hits. He comes on down to give us an update, and he gives us an update, and he also says that he wished he could be still rehabbing instead of being at the pay-per-view in front of the people of Las Vegas. And then the arena goes to black. Everybody's going crazy. What's going on? And up on the Titantron there, there was a video package of everybody's favorite scumbag, MJF, has returned and made his choice that he is still All Elite, baby. But yeah, so the video package starts. It like goes down the hallway at MJF's house. He has like his suit put up there, and it has a torn picture in half of him and Adam Cole. And then he goes to reach for his signature scarf, and then that's when the music hits. Place goes bananas. He looked like it reminded me of when Triple H came back in 2002 with the jean jacket on, looking like a badass. Comes on down and does beat on one of my faves, Adam Cole. First, Adam Cole tried to say, "Hey man, let's bring back Better Than You, baby, man. Come on, one last time." And MJF gives Adam Cole the low blow and then tells him to get out of his ring. And then he cuts a promo saying that he doesn't need to go to a New Japan or need a Vince McMahon's help to create MJF, because MJF created MJF. And he also let us know that we are not getting Mr. Nice Guy MJF anymore. We're getting the real MJF. So it's going to be good stuff there. He also said he confirmed that he is staying in All Elite Wrestling. He got a tattoo of AEW with the poker chip saying "Bet on yourself," and yeah, it was a pretty cool moment. And he also gave famous quote from a movie. I'm sure you guys heard of it, The Wolf of Wall Street. "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving." Again, place went nuts. So the Wolf of Pro Wrestling has come back, MJF. Wow. Get ready for once Adam Cole is cleared, one of the feuds of the summer will be back later on this summer. Can't wait for that. But there was more at this show, shockingly. This was just like the first 40 minutes of the show that all this happened. I was like, boom, and there was so much stuff going on at this pay-per-view that made it so good. The next we had another return. We had the Bang Bang Gang versus Death Triangle of Ray Phoenix, Penta, and Pac took on Jay White and Austin and Colton, the Guns. And yeah, it was a good match. And then again, seems been happening a lot this weekend with pro wrestling. Some shenanigans goes down where outside interference affects the outcome of the match, where returning Juice Robertson came back to the scene to help the Bang Bang Gang get the victory. And again, it was a really good match, really good trios match. A lot of stuff happening. I thought Death Triangle had the Bang Bang Gang, but yeah, just didn't have enough. Alrighty, on to the first women's match that happened on Double or Nothing. Toni Storm and Serena Deeb. It was a really good match that I still think Toni Storm is going to have her title reign at least until a little bit longer this summer, for when some returning stars, everybody's other favorite Yinzer other than yours truly, and everybody's favorite Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, comes back. Also Penn State alumni, by the way. But yeah, either seeing her take on Toni Storm, I could see here in the future, or Britt Baker's friend Jamie Hayter. She's been out for a while. She had the women's championship, had to give it up due to injury, and yeah. That was the first women's match of the night. Then we had like kind of the friendship grudge match between Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta, and it was a brutal match where definitely some lines drawn in the sand, as I would say, with Orange coming up with the victory in this grudge match. But when two friends fight, like the way that they were, don't know if their friendship will ever come back after this one. Trent, after Orange won, he attacked Orange and then ran off, says he's done. We'll see there. Also with Orange Cassidy, we don't know, is he going to join Will Ospreay in the Don Callis family? I hope neither of the guys do, because nobody likes Don Callis. And then kind of like the slow match of the night for me, that was Chris Jericho, Hook, and Shibata. It was a decent match. Again, there was some shenanigans. One of the guys that was in the triple threat match with Hook and Shibata interfered in the match to help Jericho win. Wasn't a big fan of it. So let's move on. And move on we shall with a really good match between Jon Moxley and another member of the Don Callis family, Takeshita. It was a very good match. The night before on Collision, Jon Moxley was attacked, had his arm attacked, he had it all bandaged up, and Takeshita tried to utilize that, but long story short, he didn't. So Jon Moxley came up with the victory. So Takeshita will not get a shot at Jon Moxley's IWGP New Japan World Heavyweight Championship. Man, that's a mouthful. And then we move on to one of the craziest stipulations I've seen in a wrestling match in a while. It was very brutal. It was one of my shocking moments of the night. It was Adam Copeland taking on Malachi Black in a barbed wire steel cage match. It was wild. It gave me the vibes back to those crazy ECW days. But yeah, it was a very bloody match that, again, very wild. Malachi Black's group tried beating on Adam Copeland. Well, first Adam Copeland thought that he tricked Malachi Black and have his teammates turn on him, but it was like a double swerve, so they like swerved Adam Copeland back. For those who don't know, that's Edge. That's his real life name. Anyway, he got beat down by the House of Black, and then like someone emerges from the ring, and it is someone from Edge's past. No, not Christian. He had a match later on tonight, and of course they just had a grueling rivalry. It was another one from his past, Gangrel. For those of you who don't know, Gangrel was like a pro wrestler that was a vampire. Yes, I said that right. That was his gimmick, that he was a vampire. Anyway, but with the help of Gangrel to even the odds, Adam Copeland retained his TNT championship in one of the craziest matches that I have ever seen. On to the match one of the triple main event that was on last night's Double or Nothing. We had Willow Nightingale defend her TBS championship against Mercedes Moné. For those of you who don't know, that is her WWE name was Sasha Banks. So yeah, it was a good match. It was a very decent match. Some back and forth with Mercedes coming on top. Some controversy there with her winning. Some people like it because cool, she's here, she's wrestling finally. But again, it was her first match. She got a title match. I mean, yes, she's one of the biggest names in women's pro wrestling history, but on the other what AEW does, you gotta fight through the ranks to get there. So it was kind of a little weird, but anyway, Mercedes won, cool, and then Willow Nightingale was getting carried to the back by her now former best friend Chris Statlander. She then decided to hit her with a clothesline and leave her friend there. And yeah, looks like that's going to be her next feud. But yeah, good stuff. Good pay-per-view so far. Moving on to our World Heavyweight Championship match between Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. Unlike his friend former friend Adam Copeland, Christian does not get the gold tonight because whose house is it? It's Swerve's house. Swerve got the victory, defying the odds from it being basically a 3-on-1 with Christian's goons being Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus, or now known as Christian's finishing move, Kill Switch. So they tried to attack Swerve. Swerve got them all thrown out. The referee caught them red-handed, threw them out, and then it was one-on-one match where Swerve could finally beat Christian, put him away, and hopefully that he doesn't have to deal with him anytime soon. And then going on to the main event tonight, or last night, was the Team Elite versus Team AEW. The Elite having Okada, the Young Bucks, and Jack Perry. Team AEW having Bryan Danielson, FTR, and Darby Allin, my boy right here. The craziest dude I have ever... He's the craziest wrestler that I said. Anarchy in the Arena met the terms last night. Darby comes out. He's wearing a protective mask because again he did break his nose, but in the protective mask that he had on, he had thumbtacks in it. Again, crazy stuff happened in this match. From they were fighting all across the arena, outside the arena. Jack Perry tried to hit Darby with a bus, literally. He missed, thank God. And then later on in the match, Jack Perry's coming back in the match, and he grabs the president of AEW, Tony Khan. He drags him out there. And then Darby comes with a flamethrower, and he's shooting the flamethrower, and he gets Jack Perry with that flamethrower. So his buddies, the Young Bucks, had to put him out, and then it was, as said, anarchy in the arena. Definitely was that. And then, but sadly, Team AEW does not get the victory. My poor boy Darby was hanging up by his feet, for crying out loud. So yeah, that part of the show did suck for me, being a fan of the guys that are on Team AEW. That dang elite beat my guys, but hopefully, hopefully sooner rather than later they get what they deserve. But yeah, AEW Double or Nothing was phenomenal. Crazy returns, crazy matches. Same thing in WWE's pay-per-view. It was some really good stuff there. But as said, the whole show isn't just about pro wrestling today. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about X-Men 97, and I also am going to talk about my thoughts on the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Again, both, first off, both shows are, well, this is the show, X-Men 97. It might have been one of Marvel's best projects they ever done. So, for those of you who don't know, X-Men 97, it is a continuation. It's not a reboot. It's a continuation of the old 90s X-Men cartoon. I know with the good old and they still have the good old classic theme song. You get the gist. For us Saturday morning cartoon kids, you get the gist. But anyway, as for the show, as said, phenomenal. The thing, like, one of the now I'm a big Wolverine fan, but just because I am a big Wolverine fan, there's also the X-Men too. Like, they're all they're a team. So everybody in this show gets to shine. It really, like, for most of the show, or for this season, Wolverine is kind of he's there, but he's there. He's his presence is felt, but he's not the front and center guy. Speaking of that guy, that would be Cyclops. That would be, let me get this. For those of you who don't know, Cyclops right there. He's the main big leader of the team. He would be the Superman or Captain America kind of character for those of you that don't know the show. But yeah, one of the most badass scenes in it is like I think it was the first or was it the second episode? I think it was the second episode, where, so again, he can shoot like lasers out of his eyes. So he dove out of this plane and he used his laser beams to guide his way down to make a cool, epic, superhero-like landing. But yeah, very good show. Some things I wanted to talk about it was the storytelling. It just felt like every character had something to bring to the table. Every episode, like, you wouldn't think, okay, they're on a pretty good run, 3, 4, 5. I think It was 10 episodes total. It's also on the Disney Plus if you wanted to check it out, if you haven't already. But yeah, spoilers ahead for the show. So it does adapt some of the X-Men comics, like the trial of Magneto. With speaking of that, so if you didn't know about this show, so it's like the season that they didn't get to do of the show. So there is like a little bit of a time gap. What happened in the previous or in the very last season, Charles Xavier was in the founder of the X-Men. He was in a coma or presumed dead. He got shot. We find out later he was in space this whole time. But while he was away, a lot of stuff happened. Charles put in his will that if he would no longer be there, that Magneto, one of the X-Men's kind of, I would say, frenemies, takes over leadership of the team. Cyclops really didn't like that. They kind of butted heads for a little bit. But again, this, like, there was certain, like, literally the one scene in the show was the trial of Magneto. They literally showed, like, they showed the trial that was like the one famous X-Men cover for in the comic book run of the trial of Magneto. And then again, then another one of the big comic book moments that was in the show was the attack on Genosha. It's kind of like the mutant, kind of like their continent, like another one of like another continent that's on Earth, is how I'll explain it. So the Sentinels, that's these like big, gigantic robots. They hunt down. And either they're meant to hunt them down to capture them, or they're supposed to kill them. Well, like a huge invasion happens of Genosha. Huge attack that killed a bunch of mutants there, and one being Gambit, one of the biggest fan favorite X-Men. He is right here on the one comic I got right here. Yeah, it was some pretty heavy stuff. Pretty wild. It was pretty wild to see, and also that made Rogue, who was kind of conflicted. Did she like Gambit, or did she like Magneto? She was kind of conflicted this season on which one, and Gambit sacrificing himself. But not only did he disappear, or well, he actually died in this episode. Magneto disappears in this episode, but we find out later that he was just taken as a hostage by the actual Big Bad, who is like a human version of a Sentinel. His name is Bastion. He basically can control robots. So that's kind of like what the Sentinels are. So he can control them, and he can also turn people into Sentinels. There was this one crazy scene where they like attacked the X-Men, and again, like the people are kind of like zombie robot kind of people. Again, they're attacking the X-Men, which has one of the cool Wolverine and Nightcrawler moments of the series, where Nightcrawler he can teleport. So him and Wolverine he's teleporting Wolverine and himself back and forth. It was a really cool, badass scene. And then eventually, like after, so we get brought back to what's happening with Charles Xavier in space. He figures out that his X-Men need his help because Gambit was killed, and so many other mutants at the time, and yeah, so he comes back, and did you ever see that meme like where like the guy opens the door with pizzas and like inside the place is on fire? Well, that was basically what Charles came back to. He comes back. He comes back to the X-Men, and again the human Sentinels are fighting with them, and then Magneto escapes the prison that he was at, and when he does escape, he basically just EMPs the again, he's like the master of magnetism, is like kind of like his powers. So anything like metal, so he can like so he like created like an EMP so that it would like take down the Sentinels for the time being. But again, the whole world, like, no electricity, no nothing, because again he's using his powers to keep the Sentinels away. Is it the right thing? Maybe. That's kind of like what it's like you kind of feel for what Magneto's doing, but on the other hand, it's like, well, wait a minute, no, this isn't okay. So Charles comes back. He gets the X-Men together to go take on. They had to take the war on two fronts. They had to do two teams. Now, when they picked these two teams, I don't know who thought of the idea, but it wasn't the greatest. So again, as I said, so they had a group that's going to go take on Magneto, and a group that's going to take on Bastion and the robot Sentinels, because Charles is going to get the power back up. Once he gets power back up, of course, the Sentinels are going to come back online. They're going to attack the world. Crazy stuff. While that happens, as said, why do I say I don't know who came up with the idea of the two teams. So team one was Team 1 was Wolverine, Cyclops, Charles, Jubilee, and they went to go take on Magneto. Now again, they sent Wolverine, who, if you don't know, Wolverine, he has metal, he's got metal bones, is going to go fight Magneto, the guy that can control metal. So we'll get to that part in a minute. And then the other team was Jean Grey, Cable, Storm, and this one's gonna bug me here. I know the guy's name. Forge, there we go. Came to me there. So they took on Bastion. Now again, so again, Wolverine, metal, goes to fight. So again, they're just getting ready to take down Magneto, and Wolverine, like this happened in the comics, Wolverine goes, he stabs Magneto. He kind of had that Thor Thanos moment, like, oh, you should have gone for the head. Kind of like that is what happens. So Magneto retracts Wolverine's adamantium claws, and then he rips out the adamantium from his skeleton, leaving basically Wolverine in a coma for the remainder of the show. So the X-Men, it looked like all hope was lost, because again the Sentinels once they stopped Magneto, but the team that was taking on the Sentinels looked defeated, and then Jean Grey comes back with the part of the Phoenix Force to help defeat Bastion, at least so that they thought. This season kind of ends on a cliffhanger where the X-Men get pulled away in two separate timelines. Some of them are in the past in ancient Egypt, and some are in the far distant future where Cable was raised. For those of you who don't know who Cable is Cyclops' son, and Madeline Pryor, or the clone of Jean Grey, who was also in the series as well. We got a little bit of story with her. She was one of the people that died on at Geonosia, and the reason why Cable was there as an adult was he was trying to save his mom. He tried 200 times and he didn't succeed any of them. So it's kind of like that canon event kind of thing. But some other cool stuff that happened on this show was the cameos. There were some great Marvel cameos in here, which helped from one of the X-Men morph. He would transform in sometimes a different X-Men character, whether it be Psylocke, whether it be Juggernaut, but he also morphed into some other of the Marvel characters. He morphed into the Hulk as a cameo, which for us 90s kids, there was the 90s Hulk cartoon, so that was kind of cool. And then my favorite part of the show, so when Magneto does like his EMP thing that like wipes out the power throughout the world, we get to see the 90s cartoon Spider-Man, one of my favorite cartoons of all time. Growing up as a kid, it was always cool to watch that on Saturday mornings. But yeah, pretty cool stuff there. And then later on in the show, we do get to see Captain America and Iron Man, and they did so while. So like what Magneto was trying to do to stop the Sentinels was he was going to shoot the meteor at the back at the Earth. And you would think, man, wouldn't the Avengers help on this occasion? What were the Avengers doing? Well, two of them, that being Captain America and Iron Man were just sitting there in a bunker protecting the president. I guess they could say that's what they were doing, was protect the president, but again, it's just like they could have kind of helped the X-Men stop an asteroid from falling from the sky. Luckily, whatever happened that sent the X-Men to two separate timelines stopped that from coming. But yeah, again, pretty cool stuff there. Can't wait to see what season 2. There is a tease of one of the X-Men's most popular villains, that being Apocalypse. Looks like we're going to get another adaptation of the Age of Apocalypse kind of start for season 2. So present day, he visited Genosha and picked up one of Gambit's cards. And yeah, so I see him being the big bad, or at least one of the big bads for season 2. And another thing I would say, that he was also in the past, because again, he's like a person that was originally from ancient Egypt. If I'm wrong here, I'm wrong. And then he comes to the future with some technology and stuff. And again, he has like his 4 horsemen of Apocalypse, which I think maybe that's where we could see Gambit come back. He is a fan favorite character, so I could see him come back. Another thing, I didn't know too much about it, but I guess Wolverine was one of them at one time, and Storm was too. So there's like 3. I was more a Spider-Man kind of guy. X-Men are a little. I just liked Wolverine. But this show definitely changed my mind on that. But enough on that. I would also like to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. It is coming out this summer. It's coming out at towards the end of July. Some really cool stuff. Hugh Jackman is finally donning the iconic Wolverine blue and yellow suit. Looks like we're going to be getting a lot of the... my prediction is we're going to get a lot of the Fox Universe's X-Men, and maybe the TVA in the MCU is going to want Deadpool to kind of get rid of or kill the X-Men from the Fox universe. But then I think he's going to see Wolverine and yeah, they're going to fight to begin with, and then Deadpool's going to probably need his help. That's what I think it's going to be like, and I hope to see more of Deadpool and Wolverine in future of the MCU projects. They're pretty cool characters. I wasn't always the biggest fan of Deadpool, but Ryan Reynolds kind of changed that. But yeah, pretty cool stuff in the world of pro wrestling, in the world of comics. So this is the man Andy Bebe checking out. This has been a long episode. I'm checking out. Boom.